Now it's time for Dan, because he has nothing else to do but read comic books all day.
Oh, don't involve me in that freak show.
Hey folks, how you doing? Comic Book Man here.
What's happening?
And I'm with
Sweet Dan Sweets.
That's right.
Yay!
Sweet. And you know where we're coming from?
No.
Alternate reality! Located at the intersection of 111th and Kenzie in beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. Alternate
it.
reality, where all new comics are 15% off every day for everyone.
Every day.
Including the two books that Dan is going to review today, which are True Blood #1 and Charmed #1, both of which came out on the same day. Both of which were here at Alternate Reality for 15% off. One of them, Charmed, was 40% off on the day it first came out, because it was part of our first day sale. And both of them have one thing in common, and that is they both originally come from other source material. True Blood is obviously the HBO TV series that's going on right now. Charmed was a very successful TV series that was on for, I think, 7 or 8 seasons. Is in syndication now. Can't miss it if you watch TNT in the mornings.
Lifetime.
Well, I might be on Lifetime. I don't know.
Oxygen.
I'm lucky enough to see it almost every day because at home it's constantly running and I'm not running it.
It's beloved.
Is your TV broken?
I wish it was.
We lost the channel changer.
Broke!
I lost the remote.
Broke! So anyway, Dan's here to review these two fine comics. And tell me, Dan, which one you want to start with? Which one was the better of the two that you want to go with first?
The better of the two.
You always go with the best one
I always go with the best one first. And I'm going to go with the one on top.
One on top. And who's on top? True Blood's on top.
True Blood's on top.
Okay.
I am familiar with the television show. This is actually an adaptation of an adaptation.
How so?
Because it's based on the show, which is based on a series of novels.
Oh, that's right.
So don't get it twisted. This is not a comic book adaptation of the Sookie Stackhouse novels. This is the comic book adaptation of True Blood.
The HBO series.
The characters are drawn like the people that act them. They are... All the scenery is the same as from the TV show. Might as well be shot for shot. You know? The thing is, I'm a fan of the show. I've watched the show for 2 seasons. I haven't caught up with season 3 yet, but I'm looking forward to it. I don't understand what the need is, what the necessity is for this, other than milking people that are already familiar with the source material out of more money. As I started to read the comic, I recognized faces and who was who right away. I knew where they were, but it wasn't necessarily adequately laid out for someone for a first issue of a comic book. The first issue of a comic book has to present a certain amount of detail in order to hook a reader. I don't think this would hook anyone that isn't already into the concept, into the property, into the characters.
Right.
There's a new monster based on some Native American spirit god. There's a little bit of mystery around it because he says somebody's wronged him. Of course, whoever wronged him just so happens to be in Merlot's bar, which is the hangout of the show. There's a lot of regular folk that get torn to pieces and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, Bill Compton shows up. He's the main vampire love interest for Anna Paquin's character, Sookie. Sookie.
The blonde.
Bill.
Not the chick
Bill
from
and
Jersey.
Sookie.
Not the chick from Jersey Shore.
Not the chick from Jersey Shore.
Thank you.
That's Snooky.
Oh, Snooky.
No,
Not that's Sookie, not Snooky.
I am so out of it. I am really so out of it.
Well, all I'm saying is I really like True Blood. I don't really like the True Blood comic. And it's not because it's illustrated poorly. I think it's illustrated really well. It's just it's too far removed from the original source material, and they're not trying to do enough with it.
Well, I mean, the argument the creators would present would be, you know, the most of the people who are going to pick up this book are people that are familiar with the HBO series, not people who are familiar with the books, and so we want to make it accessible for them because they know the HBO series. So if you don't know anything about True Blood and you're coming into the book, this is probably going to have a big wall up in front of it.
Huge wall.
That you're not going to be able to get over.
But
so watch the HBO series and buy the comic.
Yeah. Why limit yourselves, creators? Anyway.
Okay.
Follow along.
Next up is Charmed.
Yeah.
Charmed #1. The Charmed ones. I watched this thing. Like I said, it's always running at home. Actually, True Blood's always running at home too, late at night when there's a little one who's asleep. It runs at night, and I am not a big True Blood fan. Not to go back into that.
No, that's fine.
I'm not a big True Blood fan. I just haven't gotten hooked into it yet. So it's not that I have anything against it. I just haven't gotten into it. Charmed, on the other hand, I have never been a big fan of. I have never ever been a big fan of Charmed. But you read the comic.
Yeah, I did.
So how's the comic?
I can't erase it from my memory. Which is unfortunate. I also I'm gonna claim a lot of ignorance to Charmed. I wasn't a big WB programming fan. I watched Buffy early on, and I didn't follow that into Angel, and I didn't follow Angel into Charmed. So I didn't have a great frame of reference to which I could start this, from which I could start this, and
well, let me help you just a little bit. Okay, you know
Yeah.
how Buffy took place with vampires?
Yeah.
Change that to witches,
Okay.
and you have the same show.
oh, I got it. With that
Take
in
all
mind,
the vampires out,
Right.
and just change it to witches.
Witches.
Okay.
And maybe wizards?
And wizards.
Warlocks?
And warlocks and leprechauns and any other public domain fantasy magical
Yeah.
type character we can throw in there. And there you go. You got it.
My problem with the comic.
Oh, and the writing's not nearly as good.
Oh, the writing in the comics not nearly as good as the writing, which was poor in the TV show, obviously.
Yeah.
I have no idea what's going on. For a first issue of a comic, I've said there has to be certain details. You have to lay certain things out there. You don't have to lay it all out there, and I don't ever want everything spoon-fed to me. But by halfway through the comic, I don't understand why these two ladies have magic going on, and then their babies, infants, in high chairs have magic going on, and then there's bad guys who have magic going on, and then like one lady's married to Cupid or something.
As someone who has suffered through too much of that series, the comic picks up directly after the very last episode of the very last season. The season ender, the series ender. This comic picks up directly after that. When as the series ended, the three charmed ones, the three girls, get a chance to look into the future, and they see their entire family together and how wonderful their lives have become, because their husbands are all happy and their kids are all happy, and while there would always be speed bumps, because you can plot along into your future on a weekly basis without there being speed bumps.
Right.
Generally speaking, everything was sweetness and light, and they were all happy that things would turn out this way.
Probably.
Okay,
Oh.
and the comic picks up right after that.
Apparently.
And apparently things aren't all sweetness and light in the comic, because who would care otherwise?
Well, yeah, because there's some bad guys that are trying to free some dude who apparently the Charmed sisters laid to rest at the end of the show. Big deal.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's not... They don't present the story in a way which, if you're not a fan of Charmed, you're going to have any way to get into it. My point in picking these two, or putting these two together, is because one I was familiar with, one I wasn't. But both of them present material that is so shut off from anything else. It's not accessible, and that's the problem. Is you can't come into this medium and bring with it all your baggage and expect us to embrace it if you're not going to make it accessible. And that's my problem with both of these. So I'm gonna say skip it on both Charmed and True Blood, but the art in True Blood is fantastic. The art in Charmed is stinky.
Stinky.
It's I shouldn't say that. The artist is capable, sort of more in the Blue Water vibe, where you get the pencils and then it's immediately colored over.
Right.
So you get a very sketchy look. The colors are sort of uneven. I wasn't a big fan of the way it looks. There's some fantastic two-page spreads in Charmed, however, that really show you what the artist is capable of. But in the long run, the writing in either one is not good enough for me.
Okay. So, that's it. We're done. We're finished. We're out of here. That's his review of those two books. You can read more of Dan's reviews at the store website, and the store's website is at, Sarah?
What? www.myalternatereality.com.
She's charmed, isn't she? She's
Charming.
just charmed. She's just one of our...
She's the fourth sister.
She's the fourth sister.
Fourth
for us.
forgotten Shannon Doherty sister.
Yes, she's Shannon Doherty's illegitimate half-sister.
Sarah's much nicer than Shannon Doherty, though, by the way.
So, stop off at the store's website that she just told you about to check out all of Dan's reviews.
Hurry!
And until next time, this is Comic Book Man.
This is Sweet Dan, sweet.
Saying bye! The hero of the month this month at Alternate Reality is the Star-Spangled Avenger himself, Captain America. That's right, all my Captain America trades are 25% off all month long. Hardcovers, softcovers, Masterworks, Essentials, everything that's a Captain America trade paperback is 25% off all month long here at Alternate Reality.
The Video Outhouse is brought to you by some of the finest people willing to work for free. This is a list of some of them.